the sports brand Reebok. In 1958, along with his brother Jeffrey, he decided to get into the shoe business, launching Mercury Sports Footwear after a dispute with another business of the same name. They renamed their business after a special breed of South African antelope called a grey Reebok. And with that, Reebok was born, and the rest is history. It's now one of the top athletic apparel brands in the world. Joe's amazing story is told in his book, Shoemaker, the untold story of the British family firm that became a global brand. It's out now. And Joe Foster, welcome to Mark Dolan tonight. Your grandfather was in the footwear business, a pioneer of the spiked running shoe. So this is a legacy which is reaching back several generations.
Well, thank you for the invitation, Mark. It's great to be here. It is. And you know, that introduction there, yes, indeed. You almost told the story, but yes, my grandfather started his business in 1895, and he invented the spike running shoe.
Indeed so. And so not just an interest in footwear runs in the family, but obviously the DNA of being very entrepreneurial.
Well, it probably does. I don't think you know this, but when we may be born with this DNA, I was certainly born with being an optimist, which I think if you're going to be an entrepreneur, you've got to be optimistic. And Jeff and I, of course, we worked in the family business, but unfortunately, my grandfather died in 1933. And I wasn't born until 1935, although I was born on his birthday, which was a bit sort of coincidental, but there we go. So I came up with his name. And his two sons, my father and uncle, they took over the business. And then, unfortunately, they didn't have his entrepreneurial vision, and they didn't get on together. In fact, they fought. A bit like Adi Dassler and Rudy Dassler, they just fought. Rudy left the Dassler company and set up Puma. Unfortunately, the Foster family just fought, just feuded. And, of course, Jeff and myself, eventually, after doing national service, we came out and we realised that the J.W. Foster company was failing badly. Couldn't persuade my father to change, so we had to change. And so eventually we left, and as you said, we set up our company, Mercury Sports Footwear.
And I know the defining theme of your business was about quality footwear, quality sports apparel. But what gave you the edge? What was the secret of your success? How did you build Reebok into being a global brand?
Well, I think it's either stupidity or something like that just keeps you going. Because number one, you need a bit of luck. Apart from sort of knowing the business, and Jeff and I, of course, we picked up the business on the shop floor. But we decided before we left we would go to college. We went to shoe college in the evenings, and the main thing that we picked up there was a lot of friends, people who could help us, so that when we left the business, if we needed materials, machinery, whatever, any help, we could just go to the college, and they gave it us freely. So that helps us. And I think that what we did was step by step. We got ourselves involved in local sports teams, groups, people, clubs, whatever, and we slowly built our business. When we left in 1958, Adidas had come into the UK, and they'd taken the football or the soccer market. And that would have been too expensive for us to go into. So we decided track and field, and what we looked for was white space. Where are they? Where are they not? Where can we go? Which is our space? So white space is what we look for. And we became probably the UK's number one sports, we'll say, track and field company. We went into running. And luckily for us, running was growing. Not here, but in America. And so we got to a certain size in the UK, and I just thought, well, what do? Do we go into other categories? Can we go into other categories? Or Adidas, Puma, and other companies too big for us to fight. So why don't we just expand our market in our existing category, which was running? And in America, I wanted that. So in 1968, I'm reading a magazine, I think it was Eurosport, and The British government were advertising in there, we want you to export. And they wanted us to export to America.
And the rest is history. Joe, it's an incredible story. I wish we had longer, but you've created a remarkable British brand. The book is out now. It's called Shoemaker, The Untold Story of the British Family Firm that became a global brand.